You know, you get what you get on YouTube Music. It's okay, though. You know, you wouldn't buy it. What's this song called? Road Trip. It's called Road Trip. And you probably wouldn't actually listen to it on Spotify. But in a pinch, when you need a little background music to start your Sunday morning with Sage, it's all right. Aaron Radcliffe in the house. Aaron, that person looks just like you. That's awesome. What is up, people? What is up? Is it rainy where you are? Is it rainy? It's rainy where I am. And Robin Everly, my main man Robin. Does rain make you sleepy? I mean, have you ever thought it's not raining where you are? Oh. Well, it's raining over here in West Akron. I know that's for sure. And then it's better looking. I don't think that's true, Aaron. I mean, look at you. You're beautiful. Anyways. What is it about rain that makes you sleepy? What is it about darkness that makes you sleepy? Like, are we just trained? It's pouring, says Aaron. Yeah, right. So, like, I was so sleepy getting up this morning. Rocky, she just woke up. And then you're like, but yeah, I mean, why get up? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Work in the garden? No. The best you're going to do in 2020 is go hang out on Facebook, maybe Reddit, TikTok. You might as well just stay in bed, is all I'm saying. And then your body must know that, right? Like your body must know that there's just nothing happening in life when it's raining and when it's dark. So it must just shut you down. But then you got the bears. The bears interest me because they just are like hell no with all of winter. They're just like, screw it. Winter is stupid. We will see you sometime in early spring or late spring or whenever. Whenever we get so hungry, we got to get up. And then you're like, well, maybe that's what we should all be doing. If we're going to live up north here, maybe come, late December. Ooh, last day of vacation. Nice. Yeah, see, you're in bed, right? Like, maybe we should just start hibernating. Like, really, what are you going to do this winter? What are you going to do? More of this. I mean, I guess you go work for the man, make him some money, and then pay your rent. So, we'd just be wage slaves. We got to pay the man to pay all the other men. And couldn't we just go to a place where, for say $200, you hibernate until spring? Couldn't we just do that? Except the problem is we don't have the hibernate button. So we're just going to be laying in our little tube, bored out of our mind. Robin Everly is not in a tent this winter. Hells yeah, my brother. Hells yeah. I had to go out. My cowboy hat was out in the truck. And doesn't that sound as Texan as it gets? My cowboy hat was out in the truck, and I had to go out in the rain to get it because I can't go on the internet without my cowboy hat. Is that racist or Texanist? I like him. Obviously, I got a cowboy hat, and I am kind of appropriating their culture. I prefer winter over summer. Aaron, actually, I'm so glad you bring that up, Aaron, because I walked in. My kid was already up. A 15-year-old gets up before his nearly 50-year-old dad. I'm like, man, it's raining. And you know what he said? He said, yeah, I like it. I'm like, whoa, you just blew my mind. Joyce, also not in a tent this winter. That is great. So, would you say that most people, Robin and Joyce, would you say that most people would rather not live in a tent in the winter? Would you say that is an accurate statement? That, living in a tent from, say, April to late October is fine, but come, say, November through March, it would be nice to get a hell out of a tent. Would you agree that they would mostly agree with that? In which case, should we all just get on a bus and go someplace warmer? I mean, if we got a bus, yeehaw, yeah, right. Yeah, you would say that's true, Robin? So, okay. So, what do we do about that? Okay, so, most people do not want to live in a tent in the winter. Okay. Now, I am not one of these people that is anti-tent living. I am 100% all for tent living if you want to live in a tent. I'm all for living in a sewer if you want to live in a sewer. I'm all for living in a car if you want to live in a car. I'm all for living wherever you want to live, as long as you don't. I'm not into like people that trick their way into somebody's house and then use the law to stay there, which is also a legitimate form of. I love screwing with the system. So Robin says, yes, nobody wants to live. Okay. So I would say that there's probably a couple people that are okay living in it. No, I don't think anybody. If I was like, hey man, here's a log cabin with a fireplace. You want to come and live in here for the winter? They'd probably be like, oh, hell yeah. Can I get everything I want? I mean, is it still in the city where I can get food and alcohol and drugs if I so choose to want them? You're like, yeah. It's like right next to your tent. It's a cabin with a fireplace. And then he would probably be like, hell yeah, I want to live in a cabin with a fireplace. Who the hell wants to live in a tent in the middle of a northeastern Ohio winter? No one. You don't even see the doggone the squirrels. Where do they go? Probably on a plane to Florida or something. So we can set the premise that most people do not want to live in a tent in Northeast Ohio winter. Okay. What keeps them in a tent? That's what I want to know. I know a lot of homeless, and no one I know ever wants to live in a tent in the winter. And no one I know ever wants to live in it. Yes. So Robin is an authority. I mean, he has a lot of homeless friends, and he has lived in the woods. He has got his woods living badge, which we should make. He is as qualified to make that statement as anybody ever could be. And so I know of no one who ever wants to live in a tent in the winter. Okay, so let's just for this discussion, let's just say no one wants to live in a tent in the winter. Now, I know that's actually not true because I watched a show of this lady. She lives up in like the North Pole or something in a canvas tent. So it's actually not, the premise is not fully true, okay? Let's just make that statement that living in a tent in the winter, and look, I watch these guys, they climb up Mount Everest in K2, and they do that in a tent, in a blizzard. So this is just a hypothetical situation. This is not, we're going to just say, like, but, okay, should we do it that way? Should we, like, Robin is right. I don't know of anybody that, if had an easy solution, would rather live like, if I built a cabin for people that are currently living in a tent right next to their tent, I don't know anybody who is going to be like, screw that, I am living in my tent. I'm pretty sure they would go into the cabin, okay? I can't, that one is hard to refute. I build a cabin next to a tent, and there's no different obligation. You don't have to change a single behavior. You don't have to pay money. There's no friction. It's literally right next to your tent. I bet they go in. They go into the cabin. Okay, step one. They all go in the cabin. I would say 99% of them go in the cabin, right? Now, what if the cabin is a block away? It's not 100% anymore. It is not 100%. Let's say I put a cabin a block away and just say, hey, man, it's wintertime and I built you a cabin. It's just over there. I bet you, what do you think, Robin? How many would go? I'm going to say a high percentage would go. I'm going to say that for some reason, the number came 75%. 75% would go a block, okay? 25%, so 100 people in a camp, 75 would go to a cabin if it was 1-to-1. You get a everybody that lived in this tent gets a cabin. You build it and they will come. Well, we sort of proved that, right? And that's sort of where I'm headed. So, I would say 75% go to the cabin and 25% stay in their tent. Why? My belief is they stay because they are suspicious and they do not trust the person. Why is he giving me a cabin? What is he going to want me to do? He says I don't have to do anything. He says all I have to do is walk over there and walk in that cabin. I don't believe him. He's going to want me to pray to God. He's going to send over the frickin' drug counselors. He's going to send over the ministers. He's going to send over the mental health people. Not worth it. I don't need that stress. Look at Tent City in the winter. There was 90% of it coming on the side. Yeah. So, yes, Robin, that's right. So, right out of the gate, of 100 people, 75 go over to the cabins, okay? 25% stay. Now, the 75 that went over to the cabins report back to the other 25, and they're like, dude, he wasn't lying. We literally don't have to do anything different. There's no religious ceremonies. There's no drug counselors. They're like, if you want to have a drug counselor, they have a phone. You can call a drug counselor. If you want to go to church, they'll take you to church. If you want to go to mental health, they'll let you go to mental health. They'll help you, but they're not going to be hounding you on that all day. Basically, as long as you keep your space tidy and you don't actively do drugs out in public, and you don't cause fights, and you don't steal, those are the rules. Don't steal, don't cause fights, don't actively do drugs out in the public. Okay, are there any other rules? Keep your place tidy. 4 rules. Don't steal, don't fight, don't actively do drugs or alcohol publicly. And keep your place tidy, and then you got to do something with guests. There's something about guests. You can't have guests, or you can have guests between a certain amount of time and blah, blah, blah. And they have to sign in or something. I don't know. Let's see, it's tricky. So then they report back to the other 25, and they're like, look, there's these 5 rules. It actually makes the place nice. Your stuff is safe. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And it's good. I bet you the remaining 25, I bet you 19 go. Over time. Over 6 months. We're now into summer. Respect others. Yeah, that's good. So, respect others. Yeah, that's a really good one, Robin. So, within 6 months, 19 of those 25 migrate over to the cabin land. Okay? There are now 6 others that never go. They never go. There is food. There is running water. There's a cabin for you. Your stuff is safe. You have access to services if you want them, but nobody's hounding you. 6 do not go out of the 100. Okay? Why? Why do they not go? In a 6-month test period, why do of 100 homeless people, 6 not go to the cabins? I believe it's anxiety and fear. I know it is. I know for a fact it is. Because I see it. We had a homeless woman living in our house, and we let her do pretty much anything. There were almost no rules. We were just like, honey, we didn't say honey. Sorry, we did not say that. We said, look, I would say, I don't want to say her name. We would say, hey, please just come indoors. Just don't do drugs in the main rooms, okay? We're not going to throw you out. Just come indoors. And she said, I remember when Akron police would come in the middle of the winter and ask us to come to shelters, and none of us would go. Thank you. This is incredibly important. This is incredibly important, Robin. The police, who are generally pretty nice to homeless people in Akron, would say, hey, man, let me take you to the shelter. Now, why would they not go to the shelter? Also an easy one. Let me guess if I'm right, Robin. You'll leave all your stuff behind and it'll get stolen, number one, because the shelter won't take your stuff. You have to walk away from your tent. And you walk away from your tent, and all your stuff is stolen, and those same police will not do a write-up You're just out there. You lose all your stuff. Somebody will likely move into your tent. They will likely destroy your tent. They will cut it up. They will burn it. A lot of this really felt that the tents were our home and our place. Exactly. Okay. So the homeless charity, do you agree with all that, Robin? The homeless charity, it was an incredible charity. I'm no longer the executive director. They have 2 houses, okay? And there is a couple living in one house. And the homeless charity would like them to go over to the other house. And the reason they want them to go over to the other house is because the other house has a lot more food, would take care of them better. The other house would love to have them. They don't want to go. Why? The house that they live in right now has rats. The basement smells like shit. There's flies everywhere. We're trying to clean it up. The big reason is they're trying to move people out of that house so they can clean it up and put more people in it. They don't want to go. And I think it comes down to what Robin said. A lot of us really felt that the tents were our home and our place. And that's 100% what the guy in the house that the homeless charity was trying to move said. He's like, this is my home. This is my place. I like it here. How? But you're like, but dude, the shit in the basement, the shower doesn't work right now. The flies. He's like, I know. I mean, that stuff sucks. But this is my home, and I don't want to leave. It would be nice if we could get that crap fixed, but I don't want to leave. Can you, people that have never lived in a tent in the woods, appreciate that sentiment? Okay, Sage, being homeless means we've lost everything that we've... Oh, gosh, Robin, this is powerful. I want you guys to listen to what Robin's saying here. Being homeless means we've lost everything. Everything that we've ever had, we lost. Our house, we lost our property, we lost our friends, our family, our dignity, and that's all we have left is the tent. Can you appreciate that sentiment? Can you please, if you have an empathetic bone in your body, appreciate what Robin just said? Being homeless means we've lost everything. Everything that we've ever had, we have lost. We've lost our house. We've lost our property. We've lost our friends. We've lost our family. We've lost our dignity. And all we have left is that tent. Can you appreciate that? Can you understand that? And if you can't, like if you hear those words and you're like, nope. Tent in the middle of the winter, bad. Tent in the middle of the winter, bad. Tent at all, bad, is what the city says. It's inhumane to live in a tent. It's beneath their dignity, the mayor has said. It is beneath human dignity to live in a tent. And so they shut down the tents. But apparently to die in a gutter, to die in a ditch, is highly dignified, because that's what happens when mayors shut down tent cities and they have nowhere to go. You know, do you understand, Tony? Awesome. Thank you for saying that. You got to keep in mind that there's many reasons people don't go to shelters. The big one is a lot of times they're not invited. They've been kicked out of the shelters for stupid things, too. I know people that have been kicked out of shelters for wearing shorts. I know people that have been kicked out of shelters for talking to their spouse. You're not allowed to talk to people of opposite sex at the Haven of Rest unless you can produce a marriage certificate. I mean, don't we all keep our marriage certificate when we've lost everything? But I got my marriage certificate. If you don't have a marriage certificate, you are not legally married in the eyes of the Haven of Rest. And then there's just the religion. They don't want the religion jammed down their throat. I've known Christians that don't go to the Haven of Rest because they're like, this is not my Christianity. This is not how I would do Christianity is about love. It's not about jamming it down your throat. So there's many, they can't take their stuff. They can't take their dogs. They can't be with their spouse. Can you appreciate that? That you live exactly what Robin just said. You've lost everything. Property, family, friends, dignity. And now they want you to leave your tent, they want you to leave your spouse, and they want you to leave your dog and all the stuff that you have in your tent. Who is going to do that? Who is more insane? The person that leaves all of that to go sleep on a cot for one night, or the person who says, no, this is all I have left? Who is being more human? The person that lives in the tent with their spouse and dog and things and their tent, the only things they have left, or the person that abandons it all and goes and spends the night in a warm bed? Who is being more human? We will never fix. Oh, Aaron can't stay connected. Boo. Let me know if you guys are having trouble. Maybe it's the rain, Aaron. Do you have I wonder if it's the rain. We will never solve homelessness until we understand at least a little bit homeless people. Do you get it? Maybe it's my internet. Might be my internet. Hold on. Let me see my stream health. My stream health says it's okay, I guess. I think my stream health is okay. All right. I'm blaming your internet, Aaron and Tony. Sunny and 75. What state are you in, Robin Everly, with all your fancy Sunny and 75s? Do you care? You don't have to say. Don't say if you don't want to say. Please don't say if you don't want to say. We will never solve homelessness until we have at least a general understanding of homeless people. We will never solve addiction until we have at least a general understanding of addicts. Okay? We will never solve poverty until we have a general understanding of the poor. What? You're in Cali? Get out. That's where we should all go. I'm trying to get a guy over to Skid Row right now. I'm trying. He's running for his life. He's got to get out of town. As soon as you hear somebody say homeless people can't live in tents, as soon as you hear somebody say addicts need to stop doing drugs, as soon as you hear someone say poor people need to get an education, you've heard it all. You've heard it all you need to hear. Because I'm telling you, that person doesn't understand those people. That person does not understand. I've walked through Skid Row. Yeah, it's not nice, but I hear there's a lot of services. We have a bad habit as humans to judge. People take advantage when they don't get their way. They call the city and try to sue people who put a roof over their head. Yeah, I'm poor and highly educated. Ah, there we go. There we go. So it's not. Okay. Clarabelle wants to come up and say hey. So it's not about education. I have an African American friend who says he regrets his degrees because now he can't get a job as a janitor. He's overqualified. And the only jobs black people in our town in Akron can get are janitor jobs. He can't get a job in his field. And now he can't get a janitor job. Yeah. It's not just about education. The thing that surface level judgers do. I'm sorry, Sage. It's time for me to go to work. I'll see you Tuesday. Okay, brother. Take care. It's great to see you, Robin, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Yeah, I have a music therapy podcast I'm doing with a friend of mine on Tuesday mornings at 9. So yeah, I can't even get that. Yeah, there you go. See, yeah, that's right. You can't. Yeah. So, this sort of leads me to what I wanted to show you over here. I want to show you, this is kind of a stretch, not really, but let me put my headphones in here. Did you see the Chiefs fans booing while the Texans and the Chiefs stood hand in hand? Here, let me show you. So I think this happened this week, right? Did you guys see this? This was not during the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever the hell they do. I don't know, the Star Spangled Banner, whatever they sing. I don't even know. Whatever nonsense. They just wanted to have a moment of silence, okay? They wanted to have a moment of silence. In solidarity. So they came together, they were supposed to have a moment of silence, and they got booed. They got booed.
Thank you.
Thank you, says the announcer. Thank you for booing. All right. So there it is. Okay? All right. You got to get down, Clarabelle. I'm sorry, honey. You're just too wiggly today. So, so here's the thing. We don't want. There is a component of America that doesn't want solidarity, that doesn't want people to come together. You see? Okay, Aaron says, I made almost $25 an hour, but due to circumstances beyond my control, I'm not allowed to work in my field anymore. It has nothing to do with education. There you go. Yes, it was never about the flag or respect. It is still about the white man wants to see. Yes. So, this was really eye-opening to me. So this seeing the Chiefs fans booing was really telling to me that it's not about kneeling during the national anthem. It's not about that, they're not protesting peacefully enough. It's about don't do any of it. We don't care if you are hurting. We don't care if your people are being murdered by the authorities. My people aren't being murdered by the authorities, so I don't care. Yeah, I thought it was beautiful too. And anytime a white person, and it's literally white people. I mean, are there racist black people? And of course there are, but the point here is that it's the white people who are not suffering the way black people are and poor people are. White poor people. They don't care. So then they're like, well, it's not Black Lives Matter, it's all lives matter. Well, we know that's not true because I would assume an all lives matter person was happy when we killed Osama bin Laden, was happy when Hitler died, believes in war. And I don't know if you know this or not, but people get killed in wars. So all lives matter is a lie. No one believes all lives matter. No one does. Some lives need to end. Okay? I can do philosophical, ethical, hypothetical situations where I can prove to you that you would agree that no matter how unfortunate it may be and hurtful, that the person needs to die. Do you guys remember that show MASH? There was a really powerful episode where there were these people on a bus, and there was a chicken that wouldn't stop balking on the bus, and they needed to be quiet because, I don't know, they were going to get pulled away from the whole bus was at risk, okay? The whole bus was at risk because this chicken wouldn't stop clucking, okay? And the lady holding the chicken kept tightening, trying to quiet the chicken and quiet the chicken and quiet the chicken so that everybody in the rest of the bus would not be found and killed. And then at the end of the show, you find out it's not a chicken, it was a baby. The baby wouldn't stop crying, and she killed her baby to save the rest of the bus. Doesn't make it tragic and brutal, but there were many people, and I'm sure that has happened, right? I mean, absolutely those kinds of situations have happened. And that makes her an incredible hero in doing these incredible things. But so basically what she said was, I either kill my baby or everybody on this bus dies. I kill the entire bus. Okay? So, of course, not all lives matter. It's It's a childish little statement. And then, of course, just, terrible, terrible people like Hitler. Does Hitler's life matter? I don't think so. Does Osama bin Laden's life matter? I don't think so. Aaron says, yes, it's the whites. We are so clueless. Whites think anything that doesn't fit their normal shouldn't be allowed. Well said. Anything that doesn't fit their normal should not be allowed. That's where their education comes into play and their unwillingness to want to learn why our brothers and sisters are standing up, kneeling, and being arm in arm. It makes them uncomfortable. It makes them uncomfortable when they have to wear a mask. White people, it comes back to the name of that book, White Fragility. White people are fragile, and their fragility is deadly. They ultimately, the ones saying the lines, all lives matter, the phrase all lives matter is killing people. Because then we can't have a discussion about how people are being wrongfully killed. And then they try to do everything in their power to ostracize and demonize the power people that are standing up for the people. So like Black Lives Matter is a hate group, AOC or what OAC, that congresswoman, she's a stupid liberal. Bernie Sanders, he's a communist. They have these catchphrases that they like to throw out so that people that aren't paying a lot of attention can be like, oh, wow, Bernie Sanders is a socialist. That's bad. Socialism is bad. We can't have socialism. That's not America. We can't have socialism. That's not America. Black Lives Matter is a racist hate group. Oh, that's bad. We can't have that. We can't have hate. That's bad. So, you see, you get the people that are educated, which are the people on the side for the people, and then the side that are against the people, which is the All Lives Matter people. And I'm sorry, they're against the people with that stance because they're just divisive. They're like, no, your life matters as long as you do it just exactly the way we say. If you would do it exactly the way we say and, figure out how to lighten your skin and straighten your hair or something, then your life will matter too. Otherwise, sit down and shut up. Don't lock your arms hand in hand. It makes me uncomfortable. There is no solidarity. You are wrong. There is no racism in America. America's not racist. You're just lazy, you multi-million-dollar hard-working college graduate that won the lottery by being an amazing football player. You're just being lazy. You're hate. What's even sadder is once they hear something, they believe it. Whites can't really think for themselves. Most of us are just followers. Yeah. Well, and honestly, it's because people are busy, okay? Everybody's busy being a wage slave. You have 2 kids, a mortgage, a car payment, a job you hate, a spouse you really don't like very much, an alcohol habit. You're exhausted, okay? You're exhausted. So when somebody says Black Lives Matter is a racist hate group, you're like, all right, well, that sounds like crap. It does sound like crap, but it's not true. But they got to get the cliff notes because they're exhausted. You see? They're exhausted. And so most Americans, most humans do not have time to become an expert on these matters, okay? It does not make them bad people. But there are the people at the top who are the puppet masters of the exhausted people. And so you just fall in one camp or another because you don't have time and energy to understand all the nuance. And so you're just like, oh, Black Lives Matter. Don't all lives matter? And it's not because they're a bad person. They're just like, Black Lives Matter sounds a little racist to me. Sounds like only Black Lives Matter. Whereas all lives matter sounds like all lives matter. I'm going to go with all lives matter. It's not that they're bad. Yeah, yeah, of course they're exhausted. Yeah, but they have to fight the fight. They have to fight the fight. So, of course, they do all of that stuff and have to fight the racism. Whereas the white person has to just be like, Tom says all lives matter. I believe in all lives matter. And then you don't have to, then you have more time for Netflix as a white person. Whereas a black person's got to go to marches. You know, they have to do all the other stuff. They have to go to the job. They got a spouse they don't like. They got a habit. They probably don't even have a habit. They're a lot of times much more solid humans than your average white person. And then they have to fight a race war on the side. We all have time. That's an excuse. Yes. That's right. We have to care. So okay. It is an excuse, Aaron. You're 100% right. And this is where strategy comes into play. Okay? So, have you guys seen the memes I'm doing of our mayor? Here, let me show you. I'm pretty proud of him. There. Let's see here. Okay. So here, let me show you what I've been working on. I'm really literally I show my whole family. I'm like, oh, dudes, wait till you see this. So this is King George from Hamilton. Okay. I've become quite adept at my Photoshop skills. So you see what I did was I went and I take Dan Horgan. I cut him out of this picture. I call this my Grumpy Dan picture. See, I start with that. And then I put him in places. So here he is, whites are lazy sheep just hoping that it'll all go away without having to get involved. Right. You're a million times right, Aaron. That's right. So my question is, what are we going to do? Are we going to try to get them to care, even though they're not probably going to care? Like, it's like, okay, meat for me, okay? I literally say a prayer to the cow that I am eating because I feel so bad I'm eating him as I eat him. Industrial farming killed the cow that I spent $3 on a pound because he was on sale for ground beef that's so freaking delicious. Oh my gosh, so delicious. So delicious, okay? I can't care about that cow. Why? Because I'm busy. I'm busy and I love beef. My theory is that people want to care. Yeah, it's futile, right? So here. So this was my Labor Day post to our mayor. I took King George out of Hamilton and I put Dan Horgan's grumpy face on King George. And then I called it, King Horgan, you're crushing Akron labor to make your friends rich. Happy Labor Day, asshole. Isn't that nice? Oh, I laughed and laughed. And what I know is this stuff really gets under his skin. He's very sensitive, very sensitive. His family sees it. They chastise me. They're like, that's cousin Dan. He's a nice guy. Look, you can be nice and destroy your city at the same time. Then, let me go. Wait, I'm jumping ahead. Hold on. Okay. So here, then I took this picture. This is Grumpy Dan. I took this picture, and this is out of Mad Max Fury Road. And Mad Max Fury Road is the one about the guy hoarding water. Now, I didn't want to use the really cool-looking bad guy, so I found the guy in the wheelchair, and and put Dan Horgan's face on him. So that was really funny. I was dying about that. I was having a great time, and then I added these words. Oh, no, I'm giving it away. Hold on. Wait, then I added these words. I said, then I took a quote out of Mad Max, and I said, do not become addicted to water. It will take a hold of you, and you will resent its absence, because water is so unbelievably expensive in Akron. And then I called it Mad Max Akron, Ohio. This was my favorite. You love this one? I laughed and laughed. Oh, this is a good one. And I got so many more. Like, literally, I have so many of these. I'm like a genius with memes. I didn't realize it, but I can. Then I took this guy and I cut him out and I put him on a backdrop of Main Street, which still is not open. Main Street, Dan Horgan shut down Main Street for years. Businesses had to leave in the middle of, so he can have a roundabout. This guy loves roundabouts. He's going to put a roundabout on Main Street. Can you believe that? Who puts a roundabout on Main Street, in the middle of Main Street? Dan Horgan does. So I thought that was so funny. And then I added a lot of words. And then I said, this was on September 11th. I wrote this. I said, September 11, 2020, 35 homicides this year. 7 of them were 18 years old or younger. Yesterday, an 8-year-old got shot at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And Main Street has looked like this for years. And then I have with a bubble. Dan, I don't have a name for this Dan. Little Dan, maybe? I don't know. Build more splash pads. I crack myself up. So, this is my strategy. I'm using the First Amendment because that thing is awesome. I love the First Amendment. You can have so much fun with the First Amendment. And, and then I have to show you this. A friend of mine from Texas, Jane, she sent me this t-shirt. It says, "Not now, sweetie. Mommy's cyberbullying the mayor." I love it. I got to get that t-shirt. Taking it 5 years that other cities complete in 6 months. Yeah, he can't run this stuff. He doesn't know what he's doing. And the fact of the matter is, they don't care. He's just like Donald Trump in that regard. Like, as long as he does the bidding of the Summit County Democratic Party, which is give all the money to the big corporations, then they don't care what Dan Horgan does. It does not matter to them. It doesn't matter to them if a project goes for years and years and years. It doesn't matter to them if he's ignoring homicide rates while he's building splash pads and roundabouts. It doesn't matter to them because all they care about is money. And that's how the Republicans got on board with Donald Trump. They're like, oh, he'll still give us the money? Oh, well, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me he'll still give us the money. Oh, we love Donald Trump, even though you have all these things where they were talking about how much they hated him in the last, election. Now they love Donald Trump because they didn't realize he was going to give them the tax cut to the rich. They didn't realize they were going to get all the fancy, big money. And that's exactly the same with Dan Horgan. He's exactly the same guy as Donald Trump, but not even nearly as charismatic or uniting from a certain perspective. At least Donald Trump can get people to stand behind him. It would be so easy to create a coup against Dan Horgan because Dan Horgan is nobody cares. You can only have a coup in a state where nobody cares about the leadership, and so I'm making them care. First Dem I can honestly say I hate. Yeah, he's ruining. He's legitimately ruining Akron. He's trying to gentrify Akron, and you're not going to gentrify Akron. You're just not. There's too much poverty and too many drugs. I see. There's this really bougie white woman that moved into the hood, and she just got like a $2,000 purebred dog, and she walks around the neighborhood, and I'm like, oh honey. I'm sorry I say that, but in my head, I guess I do say it. I'm like, you better go home, because she's gonna get that dog stolen, yo. That's a $2,000 purebred dog you got running around in the hood. You and your tight bougie shorts and your tight low-cut blouse and your coiffed hair that you got done from the hairdresser in the hood. Are you for real? Do you want to get killed? You ain't gentrifying that neighborhood, honey. You're going to be gentrified. You're going to be whatever-fied. We call it L.A. for a reason. Lower Akron, baby, and we're proud of it. We're proud of it. You're not gonna gentrify that neighborhood. You know why? Because she moved a couple of her friends in, and you know what? They're scared as shit of the drug dealers at the end of the road. And you cannot move drug dealers because drug dealers have rights. You can't just kick a drug dealer out of a house. You got to build a huge case. It takes forever. It takes forever to build a drug case. They just sit back there, and the people come around, and the people buying drugs, and they got their pit bulls, and these bougie suburban people trying to gentrify the hood. Damn. What does she think they're doing? That shit ain't gonna work. They're shooting 8-year-olds at noon in Akron, okay? 8-year-olds at noon are getting shot up in Akron. That's where we live. Not where you bougie white people with your Eskimo dogs. Jesus, that dog looks scared as shit. Saw him looking around, side-eyeing those fucking pit bulls. That dog was like, get me out of here, lady. We are not made for this place. Get me out of here. Oh, damn, that was a funny day. See, so anyways, my thought is, Aaron, is that I cannot rationalize to make people understand all the complications of why Dan Horgan is hurting Akron. I'm just going to tell people over and over again that Dan Horgan is the worst mayor in the history of Akron, which is true, but I don't need to explain why. But it's just like Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. People aren't like asking any questions about like either of those. The people that are busy and don't really care, they're like, well, All Lives Matter sounds better than Black Lives Matter. I'm an All Lives Matter person. You're like, no, you're not. You're actually not. You're not an All Lives Matter person. I've talked to you and you care about the plight of black people. You're like, but they say I saw a thing on Facebook where Black Lives Matter murders people or whatever. I don't know what people they do. And the All Lives Matter people don't do anything. They just want to love all people. I want to be the person that loves all people. I'm like, no. So, there's a lot of power in being the anti thing. Plus the mere fact that people like to believe in the negativity. There's something about it. People love to believe negativity. They're very suspicious of hope. So for me to be the anti-Dan Horrigan, it's way easier for me to just shoot out things like, hey, look, most homicide rates in decades, highest eviction rate in all of Ohio, 26% poverty rate, and then I just add worst mayor in the history of Akron, and then he's got to come back with all the nuance of why he's not, which he can't even do. He can't even do it. I mean, what is he going to say? But I got a splash pad. I put a splash pad in, damn it, and they love it. The people love the splash pad. Yeah, dude, it's raining, and now it's going to turn to ice. What are you going to do? Call it a freeze pad in a month? I've got the easier position. So, and then on the back end, what I want to do, so when you create a revolution, in a way, destroying your enemy, well, it's just the first step. It's not easy. It's easier than actually putting a good person in, okay? So destroying creating your revolution and winning your revolution is great and challenging, but really not the hardest part. The next step is putting the right person in that will adhere to your beliefs. So on the back end, I'm really trying to figure that out. My vote is for Russ Neal or Tara Samples. They have the experience everybody needs. We've never had an African-American mayor in the history of Akron. I doubt we've had a woman. I don't know. They don't even bring that up. So, I would love Russ Neal or Tara Samples, and I would be fairly happy with Linda Amobian. Linda Amobian is very practical. I don't know. She's like the Joe Biden, okay? She's the Joe Biden of Akron politics. She's smart. I like her. But she's not going to move the city like Russ Neal is. She's not going to, Russ Neal, oh, that man has so much integrity. I love Russ Neal. I like Tara Samples because she's very strategic. She's a good politician. Probably the best of those three, and she still has values. And I like her because I think she could really make things happen. You see what I'm saying? So Russ Neal is integrity to the bone. Tara Samples is integrity and strategy. And literally, I don't care. Either one of those would be amazing. And Linda Amobian, I wouldn't hate. I really like Linda Amobian. I really do. She's just very center. She's centrist. And why do we need that in Akron? We got big, big problems that need to be dug up and blown out of the water. So anyways, yeah. So that's my theory, Aaron, is that I am not going to explain things to people unless they want them explained. I'm just going to make memes to destroy the career and entire legacy of Dan Horgan while hopefully really hurting badly the Summit County Dems, because they are not Democrats. They are just the party of money. They don't have a single democratic value in their heart at all. And everybody that's a true Democrat in Akron knows that's true. They're afraid to say it because they're part of the, they have to play their game. All right. What is Yes We Do? Fredrin. Anyways. I'd like to put out a public service announcement. If you have any silverware in your house, like your grandma left you some silverware and you're not using it, and it's real silverware, take that shit and sell it. I'm going to go buy a TV, y'all, because I had no idea. Literally, I scrap metal with my friends. I go to the scrap yard. I love scrapping metal. I love it. I like going to the scrap yard. I generally know what to look for, like copper and wire and aluminum, all this stuff, but hell, silverware, I'm going to go buy a TV. I'm buying a TV. Next week, right behind me, you're going to see my new TV. Sell your silverware, people. If you ain't using it, use the money. Anyways, I love you. You guys are amazing. Stay true to yourself, will you please? That's the best thing you can do. Stay true to yourself. We need to blow everything out of the water. Oh, yeah. Yay, Fredrin. Stay tuned. I got big plans. I got big plans. I'm just setting the stage. It's going to be fun. If you can't have fun during your revolution, you can't have fun anywhere. That's all I'm telling you. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time. And Dan Horgan, worst mayor in the history of Akron. Just don't forget it. Okay. I love you. I will see you later.